Welcome to the webinar of the Design Me project.
Hi, my name is Jovita, and this webinar is a short version of the workshops we had in Opole, organized by Smart Foundation. And the workshops as well as the webinar is a part of the bigger project, the Design Me project. So for the participants it will be a reminder, but most of all it is an introduction to design rules and instruction how to use elements of design to create a compelling layouts, projects for online, for social media platforms and websites to reach the young people. So you will see the theory connected with fonts, photography, how you can use photography as a background. So you will see also some rules of composition, the rule of thirds. You will be encouraged to use your own text and slogans for call to action buttons and then connect them with the specific colors. So you will see also the psychology behind the colors. This will be a good guide for beginners how to start designing your layouts in an effective and conscious way, and for more experienced designers it can be an inspiration, encouragement for sure to share your knowledge with others. Maybe this can be an example for you how you can do your own webinar or workshop. So all the visual examples placed here are based on reaching to young users on the internet. So let's start and let's go to 12 basic rules of design. Those are the 12 basic rules of design. You can find that their rules are unspoken and unwritten, but I chose those 12 basic rules because from my experience they are quite important and helpful, useful for creating compelling designs. So this can be guidelines for you to also create the layouts based on the rules like this. So learn the rules like a pro and then break them like an artist, like a Pablo Picasso said. So you see that some of the rules are similar to each other. So my first tip for you will be to see the similarities and then simplify. As you can see here, I grouped the 12 rules into some groups. I connect the words based on some similar meanings of them, and each group have its own title. So this puts the hierarchy on the words, on the rules, and shows the emphasis. So when you have plenty variety of text and elements, you can create some pattern like this is like capital letters and small letters to put also the contrast between the meanings, and this will all give you the rhythm for your layouts to also keep some balance between what is important and what is less important. So make it simple, simplify your objects that will be sent to you to have a right proportion to each other. You will see a proportion also based on composition and the rule of thirds later on. And please also remember to keep some space between the content and the frames of your projects, not to have so close to the border of the projects all the contents that you will put inside. Having so long paragraph of text, when this will be sent to you, you can put and work with the text like this, basing on the rules like we've seen before on the previous slides. So having the work with the text, we can go like with having big letters for the headline, then some subtitles will go smaller. Then you can use bold for the introduction to your message. You can use also bold for some other paragraphs, just putting the emphasis on what is important over here. All the quotations will go with italics. We will be saying this more about the fonts. And then having the last paragraphs can be smaller, and this will be just an addition to the whole text. So this gives you a visual example how to work with a big paragraph of text using some of the rules based on repetition and keeping the balance, putting emphasis and hierarchy over the text. So you see how you can work with the big blocks, big paragraphs of text that probably will be sent to you through emails by your team, and how to create the balance and the rhythm and put the emphasis on the text using different kinds of fonts. And maybe now we will see how it can go with the different posts, how to create a balance on the layout.
Having in mind the basic rules of design, you can look at this example and see how the titles are organized on each post, because this is a sample of posts for Instagram probably, or even Facebook, using the square format, and how you can work with some similar background colors as well as shapes. You will have the proportion with using the background in correlation to some person figures, how the hierarchy of the visual message using the strong capital titles goes with field like stay home and enjoy music. Stay home is filled with colors and it will be more eye-catching than enjoy music. So you can have proportion between strong and light message. And with keeping the similar layouts for all the posts, for all the images going with posts, you can have fun, play with how to organize it, keeping the elements of the design in a good proportion, and have some repetition and still put some movement and dynamics into the posts to create a compelling, engaging, eye-catching messages, visual messages for young people. On the previous slide, you could see on the layouts some of the elements of design like color and shape, also the space. But there is also a line, texture, and value and size. So you will see how it will go on the following slides, how you can work with them, and how the elements are creating visually compelling and coherent, consistent layouts once they are placed and organized very balanced with each other. Here are lines, so you have vertical and horizontal lines. There are diagonal lines. You can have them very thick and very thin. You can have them placed very close to each other or in some distance. You can have different shapes like circles, triangles. You can have them filled with colors. They can be only an outline. You can have different textures and you can have different feelings of your lines, like using a brush or having the one line very thin and thick at the same time. You can see how the contrast is also put between those elements, and using different kind of opacity will also bring you more depth to your designs and brings you the opportunity to work with some photography as a background, which will be also shown on the following examples, and then we will explain it also more. So you can see here an example of a social post. This can be a different post or a carousel of 10 posts, for example, for Instagram, and you can see how opacity, like in the background, opacity is like maybe 20, 40, 60%, and how different colors can go together, creating some kind of a dynamic and proportion to each other, how different colors can go well with each other, and how you have balanced and good proportion, having the person with some flat backgrounds, also some gradients, using the opacity like we said. You can see how the logotypes and titles goes in similar places, so this brings the consistent and some pattern in using the elements of design, like for example here the titles are mostly put on the right side or the left side down on the project. You can have more dynamics, having also correlation between the person photograph, and have some outline a shape behind or on it, and then you can see how you can also work with organizing the text, like let's go, let's do it, don't stop, like the big titles, using different colors matching with backgrounds, and then having them in some correlation and having fun with the personal photography, and then big capital letters for titles. So this is an example how to place your elements of design into a consistent way to create a feeling of trust that there is a consistent message that you will be showing to your viewers.
This was a good example how to create a visual and eye-catching posts, layouts. And now we will say a few words about using photography as a background, how to use the color and the opacity to create a good contrasted background in correlation to placing the text, and there will be more information about the composition and the rule of thirds.
This photography I chose consciously because we are speaking about designing for young people. So the examples placed here in this webinar are also connected with young people. So having this strong photography, placing this in the center, you can see how we can go from this point with the opacity backgrounds, using some colors for your designs. And how to create a contrast between the backgrounds and filters to place in a contrast way the titles that you have to place. This slide shows you the same photography with the colored background, but with some slight opacity, so you can see the people and some colors of your for your design, for example. And this slide shows you more balanced way, having contrasted background using less opacity, so you can see the people figures less, but this will give you the opportunity to put some titles on the photography. So using photography as a background can go with placing a filter, a background, colored background, and having then using opacity like 60, 70, 80% of visibility to have still some image, some photography in the background, and then placing your big title just on top, and keep the good contrast for good visibility for easy to read visual messages. The slogan "Back to School" was placed down on the photography. You can use for composition the photography based on the central composition, like the previous photograph was made on. But you can also use the composition based on rule of thirds, so you can place person, figure, or any other objects, elements of design on the strong points. Those are the dots you can see over here, where the lines are crossing. Once you divide the whole composition on 3 parts, the 4 strong points are coming easily to see, and then having the project design based on this composition gives you also more movement and balance, and having a different approach to your design, and catching the attention into the strong points will go easier for our brains. And at the same time, it gives you a space to have some text here on the left side, but you can choose any of the strong points of the rule of thirds. Like here you have 4 strong points, and you can have the most important things. You can put the emphasis on one of them. It can be any of them, and the previous one was based on the dot, which is the dark place over here. But you can also work with the composition, with the rule of thirds, like also organizing your backgrounds and titles, fonts around the strong points, like you will see in a moment. So having the rule of thirds gives you the opportunity to work with the layout, also in such a way that you can divide your project into a place where you can put text, like here it would go on the white space, and then have some still pattern for using the backgrounds where it starts and where it's finished. So when I'm using this background, this gradient background, I can start it with the two parts of the composition, and then I can have place the big title, the 6W, on one of the strong points, and having this composition based on the rule of thirds gives you the opportunity to create a compelling and consistent layouts for your designs. So let's go to the next slide and you will see how it goes with the text. Here you have the rule of thirds composition shown on the example of the very vivid background that I chose because we are speaking about designing layouts for young people. So using vivid colors and some typography, this is like a graffiti type in your layouts, will also bring the more connection to young people. And keep in mind that using some designs and fonts which will be familiar to your target group will build trust and will catch their attention, as they are very aware of the trends that are going on. That's why I put trends over here like an example, but there are really collected trends from the social media and websites. So you can read them through, but this goes also with showing you how to place some stickers on the strong points where you can start and finish your backgrounds, and how you can place them, the sticker with big title, how you can place it on the strong points, and then still you have some here white space. It doesn't have to be white, but for this example I put it white just to have a good contrast for you to read. You can have then organized text on the right side. So the sticker with trends will catch the attention. Also the background will bring the people connected with maybe the graffiti word. And then you will have a paragraph of text also organized and balanced, and put some emphasis and hierarchy of what is more important. So you will have capital letters with the title, then you will have some lists of what colors are on top, what the trend for color palette is, and then some addition text. It can be smaller, and here it goes with italics, but italic font is mostly used for quotation, and this shows how you can organize your layouts around rule of thirds, how to choose backgrounds, and where to put focus with some stickers or important informations. Having the knowledge how to use the rule of thirds and have a concise composition, how to use photography as a background, and now we can go to theory connected with fonts, how to choose them and how to create concise still layouts with the fonts that also share the information about the message that you want to share with others. Choosing fonts for your design will be it is for most graphic designers very boring thing to do, because the world of the fonts is very vast and it's hard to choose the right font which will go well with the design. However, choosing the font should be correlated with the message. So having in mind that this is about designing for young people, I chose some fonts that are simple as well as handwritten, and always the handwritten fonts bring some personal touch. And you can have, you see one of the font Hello World is maybe in correlation Pac-Man. This is old game, but still it's have some dynamics of the gaming world. And you can have fonts organized in one line, or have it gathered on the left side, right side. You can have also like hello in capitals and word in small letters, to have it direct message what is more important. And depending on your layouts, it can go with one big line or divided into 2 lines. So let's see how it can go with some texture based on the composition and some also feeling of youthful designs. Texture is one of the elements of design, and you can have texture like a wood or, for example, wall. So here goes a texture wall, the bricks, and then some graffiti, and having placed the photography on some strong points, like here you can see the wave are crashing in the strong points on the left, and then it gives you the space on placing your types, your font on the upper space of your design, having the 2 parts of the composition, 2 parts of the upper composition. It gives you the chance to prepare a well-balanced in proportion design, and choosing the texture of the wall having graffiti on it also implicates to choose the fonts. It will be easier to use the fonts that is giving the impression of the spray of the graffiti art. So having the character of the photography like this gives you more time to focus on choosing the right and it will be easier to choose the right font for it. And then you will also choose the color for the hello word for the title from the probably from the one of the colors, one of the shades of the wave that is placed on the design. Choosing fonts for your layouts should be based on the tip that is shown over here, to use one strong font like you could see on the example, or 2, maybe sometimes 3 fonts, and you can use different kinds of fonts, thick and thin, and 2 different kinds of character of fonts. And once you have a bigger paragraph of text like you've seen it on the previous slides, you will work with them having like regular for the block of text for the longer paragraphs. Bold is well known as shouting. It is used mostly for putting emphasis and putting the attention on the titles. When you have like interviews and you have some quotes to put on your designs, use then italic. And when you have very whisper, when you have some elegance character in your projects, then use a thin type of font. So when you will choosing fonts for your design, go with the font that will give you the opportunity to choosing the different kind of type of one font. So having one font with different types like regular, bold, italic, thin, there are 4 basics, but you can choose fonts that will give you the chance to have one font, but then one font in your project, but then choose another, choose different types of font in one project. And this is the tip and trick in one slide. Fonts equals emotions. As you can see, you can have one sentence, one expression giving 2 different messages. So use your fonts wisely to have a specific, effective and conscious message that you want to share with others. So keep this in mind, that fonts goes with emotions and the colors goes with emotions as well. Having said about the colors, we go to the color wheel. So here you see that there are primary and the secondary colors, and my recommendation is, it's not mine, but it's one of the rules as well of the design, to use the colors that are opposite to each other. So for example, yellow will go with purple and green will go with red. You can have some different shades of your colors. So green, blue-green, this will give you opportunity to also gather your information around one color and having still some dynamics into the design. So for more experienced designers, the RGB, SMIC and hex is well known, but RGB and hex goes with online projects, online designs, and SMIC is for cyan, magenta, yellow and black. This goes for the projects that will be printed. So once you export your designs, your projects from the programs, for example Canva or Figma, use RGB or hex for online. And now you can see on the next slide how is the difference between, how looks the difference between RGB and SMIC. Sometimes the one color can be very different using RGB palette than the SMIC. So if you will have if you will be designing layouts only for online, you don't have to worry about the shades and having the right composition of the pigments in your color palette. But when the online project will be printed, then focus more on choosing the right shades of the color, because sometimes the RGB and SMIC can be very different in shades, so placing the things online will be more vivid, and then for the SMIC it will be more flat and more pastel. You can see how big brands are choosing the color for their brands. Having one strong color is always easier with the message and stays longer in our minds, in the user minds. So you know how Coca-Cola goes with the red, and then choosing color for orange, I think it was quite simple, so and I chose orange, but having the right shade is also a way of art. And then Heineken, you can see how they go with the rule, like using the opposite colors from the color wheel. So they have green goes with red, and the most popular brands, as you can see, there is some thread and patterns how they are choosing colors. So for communication it's blue, and we know the Facebook is designed for communicating with each other, and it chose the blue color. And the restaurants mainly goes with red, so the Coca-Cola chose its color very wisely. Having one specific topics like the big brands are doing, like Milka have its pastel purple and orange has orange, places you in the conscious of your users in a very short amount of time. You can have maybe this from your own experience. When you go to a shop and when you want to buy a chocolate, you will definitely spot the Milka chocolate firstly by its color. So choosing effectively the color connected to your message of the so important topics of your organization and the foundations, it is a very important thing. So we will say a few more words about how the colors can call to actions as well. I think we all have this user experience already learned that when you are filling the form online, when there is still some gap, some place to be filled with text, you will have, or something is wrong with your form, you will have the red button going with something is wrong. And once you place everything right and the email is delivered, you will go and see that the button will be green. So there is psychology behind the colors and how we react to them. Speaking more about the psychology and the call to action buttons that are placed, can be placed on your designs, all of the carousel posts or the websites, when there is landing pages, should go with call to action. So designing your post and the visual message should bring the call to action to your audience, to your users, and stating the slogans, the text very clearly gives you the more chance that they will react in a way that you would like them to. So choosing colors also for your buttons with a conscious decisions and effective way is a good way to organize your layouts, and choosing yellow for some also useful projects like going with designs for young people bring the attention more, and also go with orange when there will be something about the creativity, and the orange goes with strong call to action. When you would like to see that there is show that there is a countdown or something that is expiring, go with red, and it also goes with passion and energy. Like you see here, green will go with something in process and bring the relaxed mood for your designs. You can use black when you will show some luxury products, but as well you can be familiar with black used as a dark mode. So this will go for designs for some applications, apps for some also online things for the websites. Pink is very now on top, like trending because of the Barbie movie, so this goes also very good with young people, but keep in mind that this will be also a romantic touch. So choose your colors with having in mind that there is a psychology behind them, and choose them to have the effect that you would like to have with your visual message. Once you have chosen the colors for your call to action buttons to generate the engagement of the audience, of the users that you would like to have, there are some common slogans text for the call to action texts and buttons, but there is also a trend, and you can also have it personalized, especially for young people who are spending so much time on social media and are familiar with the same slogans. So personalizing your call to action text, like for example, donate here, can be more personalized with buy a dinner for dogs. It brings the more emotions to your texts, to your slogans, and it gives direct information where the money will go, so it's more engaging and more catching the attention, and the user will be more probably to spend the money, to share the money with you, when he or she will be directed to with the strong message where the money will go. So you can experiment with the call to action text and have tested which will bring the more action from the users. Wrapping the user experience tips, it will be good if you will have on your blog posts the information how much time it will take the user to read the whole post, whole text, and then remember about the rules like contrast, having a good contrast between the background and the text, and contrast between the hierarchy in your layouts between each element, like between, for example, thick and thin lines, but as well have a good contrast on the white letters, for example, easy to read, they should be easy to read, and then the darker background. For the posts for Instagram now, it is also very good to use keywords. And then specify hashtags to reach directly your audience. So if you are going with some general topics, search for hashtags that will be connected to your users and will be showing what the topic is about, and keep the keywords in the description, as well as you can place them under the hashtags. This is also a trending thing for Instagram. So have this in mind, and keep your layouts consistent and design it in a composed way. That will be all. Thank you for your time. I hope you took some notes and you can treat it as a guidelines for designing your own layouts projects for young people to reach with the good topics that your organization, foundations are discussing about. And you can always think that
sometimes less aesthetics and more user needs will be better way to share the visual message of what you want to show and share with word. I wish you a viral content. Maybe we will see each other on some other workshops, on some other places on the world. So have fun with designing, and I wish you all best.